Good morning, students. We are going to apply Biot-Savart law to find out the magnetic field due to a circular current carrying loop at the point on the axis of the loop. Okay, and we are going to find out the rules to find out the direction of this magnetic field. Okay, so for that we have here I have drawn the diagram in which there is a circular current carrying loop is there. Okay, and this loop is carrying a current in this manner, that is in the anti-clockwise direction. Okay, this wire loop is having the radius is equal to a. Okay, and carrying the current is equal to I. Okay, now the plane of the loop is perpendicular to the plane of the paper. Okay, and we want to find out the magnetic field B, vector B. This is very important because magnetic field is a vector quantity. So we want to find out the magnetic field vector B on the axial point. You can see that this is the axial line, okay, passing through the center of the coil, and this line is consisting of a point P which is lying at a distance r from the center of the coil, that is C. Okay, now for this we have to consider the current element as we have discussed in the Biot-Savart law, isn't it? dB is equal to mu naught upon 4 pi I dl sin theta upon s square. Okay, now I and dl, these are considered as I is a current, dl is called as a current element. Now this current element, you can see that at this point at the top of the coil, you can see that the current element is a directional vector dl bar, and this current element is in this direction. Okay, and at this point, at the bottom point, the current element is in this direction. So obviously these current elements are the vector quantities. Okay, therefore it has a outward current coming outside. Okay, now S is the position vector of point P, okay, relative to the element dl. So for this particular element dl, S is considered as a position vector of point P. Means the point P is located at a distance S from the dl component, and this is a very small component we have, current element we have considered. Okay, then we are applying the Biot-Savart law, isn't it? And this Biot-Savart law gives us the field at the point P due to the current element dl. Okay, so I'll write down here, by applying the Biot-Savart law, dB, here I am considering only the magnitude now. Okay, afterwards we are going to consider what is the direction. So dB is equal to mu naught upon 4 pi into I dl sin theta, okay, sin theta upon s square. This is the distance between the dl and the point P at which we want to find out the magnetic field. Okay, now here one important thing is that this vector dl or current element dl is perpendicular to s. Okay, that means theta is equal to 90 degree for between dl and s. Now we are going to understand how it is. Okay, so for that I have used here one bangle considered as a circular current carrying loop. Okay, now in this case we can see that the current is moving in the anti-clockwise direction. Okay, so let us consider that the current is moving in the anti-clockwise direction. Okay, so I can say that this is the current is moving in the anti-clockwise direction. Okay, now if the current is moving in the anti-clockwise direction, then we can see that this is a directional element, isn't it? So for this directional element, if I consider this is the current flowing through the coil in the anti-clockwise direction. Okay, and this is the direction of the current element at this particular small place. Okay, now where is the point P? Okay, and this is the center of the particular coil. So in this case, suppose I am saying that this is the coil and this is passing through the center of the coil. Okay, so this is the center of the coil. Now we want to find out that where is the point, where is that particular point. We are going to find out that point P. Okay, now suppose at this place the point P is there. Okay, so at this place P is there, then you can see that this place P, if I draw this, then this above pencil shows that is the distance S. the upper pencil shows that there is a distance s. Now you can see that here the angle between the s and the current element is considered as a 90-degree angle. Yes, are you getting my point? So this angle between the current carrying element and the s is considered as a 90-degree angle. So you can see that this angle is 90 degree. So the angle between the element and the s position vector is considered as a 90-degree angle, and therefore theta is equal to 90 degree. So in this case, if theta is equal to 90 degree, then you can see that the dB will be equal to mu naught upon 4 pi into IDL, and sin 90 is 1, so therefore divided by s square. So this we got it as a magnetic field due to this current element acting at point P. Okay, now this field dB lies in the plane of the paper, and is perpendicular to s, because we know that it is ideal sin theta upon s square, and dB is also considered to be perpendicular to the vector s. Okay, or we can say that it is a position vector s. Okay, so therefore we are getting here this particular direction of dB is perpendicular, and it is shown by the arrow that is from P to Q, and as it is dB is a vector quantity, so vector PQ shows the magnetic field acting at point P due to current element dl. Okay, now let us consider that phi is the angle between OP, suppose this is considered as CP, OP and CP. Okay, so this is C to P, and this point is considered as a O. Okay, so the angle between O to P and angle between OP to CP is considered as a phi, and you can see that this is a perpendicular, so it is a right angle triangle, isn't it? Therefore dB is resolved, this dB is resolved into two components. This is called as a rectangular components. Okay, now these rectangular components are, this is dB sin phi. Okay, dB sin phi acting along the axis, and this is dB cos phi acting perpendicular to the axis. dB cos phi is perpendicular to the axis. Okay, now we are going to consider that you will see that why this is phi and this is also phi. So I will again show you here by a particular diagram, isn't it? So as we have said that this one and this one angle between these two is considered as a perpendicular, isn't it? So this angle is 90 degree. This angle is 90 degree. So slowly, suppose I am going to change this particular position and I will shift to S, then you can see that S and this dB are also perpendicular to each other. So by how much angle I have shifted here? I have shifted by angle phi, that is this is angle phi. Okay, so initial position was this one and I have shifted this vector by the angle phi. So exactly this phi is nothing but this phi which is written according to that. So you can understand that this is also phi and this is also phi. Okay, so for any two diametrically opposite elements of the loop, the components perpendicular to the axis of the loop are equal and opposite. So dB cos phi due to this dl element and dB cos phi due to this dl element are having the magnitude same but acting in the opposite direction, and therefore dB cos phi cancels out each other. Okay, now which are the components remain? The only component remained are axial components, and they are in the same direction. Okay, so they are along the CP. Okay, therefore they gets added up. Now you can see that 1 dB sin phi is due to this dB, isn't it? And 1 dB sin phi is due to this particular vector dB. Okay, therefore we can have the total magnetic field, isn't it? So we are going to find out now total magnetic field, because we have to find out the total magnetic field due to a circular current carrying loop. So that is a complete loop. I want to find out how much is the magnetic field produced at point P. Okay, so total magnetic field at point P in the direction of CP I want to find out. Okay, so that is nothing but net field B is equal to integration of dB sine phi, because here this dB sine phi are getting added and we have considered only here 2, isn't it? And that is also for this element and this element. So these remaining elements, whatever I have to consider, for all the remaining small elements of DL, dB sine phi is getting added, and that's what we are getting here. B is equal to integration over dB sine phi, isn't it? And now we are going to consider what is the phi. Okay, so this is also phi, this is also phi, but in this particular triangle, that is OCP, I'll write down in triangle OCP, this is phi. So if I want to find out sine phi, then this sine phi is equal to A upon S. Sine phi is equal to A upon S. Now what will happen? This dB, this particular formula now becomes dB is equal to mu naught upon 4 pi I dl upon S square. This was dB, isn't it? Now we will have B is equal to integration over mu naught upon 4 pi I dl upon S square, this formula, and multiplied by sine phi. Now this sine phi is nothing but A by S, isn't it? Now mu naught is a permeability of a free space and mu naught is a constant, and the current carrying loop is also having the current as a constant, and S for this particular area or this particular current carrying loop, A value is also constant because it is a radius, and S value at point P I want to find out. So for every DL, the S lies at the same distance, that is S, isn't it? So therefore we can say that B is equal to mu naught I A upon 4 pi S cube. These are this is S cube, S square into S. Okay, so this complete quantity is a constant and we have taken it outside, and only integration will remain over DL. Okay, now therefore we can get it as mu naught I A upon 4 pi S cube into, now you can see that integral of or integration of DL is nothing but the small dl components we have considered, isn't it? So integration of this complete dl is nothing but the circumference of this particular current carrying loop. Okay, now therefore the radius is A and circumference is given by 2 pi A. Okay, now what will happen? We will get the value here, mu naught I A square upon 2S cube. Okay, so here we have considered that integration of dl is nothing but 2 pi A. Okay, now therefore we can consider in the manner also, that is S is equal to, we have seen that in this particular case this is a right angle triangle. Okay, therefore we have S square is equal to A square plus R square according to Pythagoras theorem, and therefore S is equal to A square plus R square raised to half. So I will write down here in triangle OCP, we can get it as S is equal to, I will write down directly S R square plus A square raised to half. Okay, and therefore we are going to put this value, then our particular value becomes B is equal to mu naught I A square divided by 2, it was S cube. So S cube, instead of S I will write down now R square plus A square raised to half. Okay, and multiplied by 3, so it is 3 by 2. Okay, so we are getting here, this is the value of the magnetic field, this is the magnitude of the magnetic field. Yes, okay, now we are going to consider it a particular direction of the magnetic field, and we know that in this diagram you can see once again this net magnetic field is along the positive x-axis. the net magnetic field due to current carrying loop is in the along the x-axis. Okay, so we can introduce here the direction of the magnetic field in the terms of I cap. Okay, so I'll write down now B bar or vector B is equal to mu naught I a square divided by 2 r square plus a square raised to 3 by 2 into I cap. What is I cap? I cap shows the direction of the net magnetic field is along the x-axis. Now this is the case of only one coil. Okay, if coil has n number of turns, capital N number of turns. Why it is important? Because afterwards whenever we are going to consider the solenoid, then in the solenoid you know that all the coils are considered, if I consider separately, then it is considered as a separate current carrying coil, and solenoid is considered as a long current carrying loops continuous portion, isn't it? So therefore B is equal to mu naught n I a square upon 2 r square plus a square raised to 3 by 2. So this is the magnitude of the current, magnitude of the magnetic field if n number of turns are there for the current carrying wire. Okay, now this is the basic expression we have to always keep in mind. It is asked generally for the 5-mark question. Okay, now we are going to consider the special cases. Okay, now what are the special cases? First we will consider that at the center of the loop. We have derived this separate expression also, but let us find out from this formula at the center of current loop. Now you can see that at the, if this point P lies at the center of the loop, obviously this R is equal to 0, isn't it? So I'll write down here R is equal to 0, and therefore the equation become B is equal to mu naught n I a square upon R is 0. So and a square raised to 3 by 2 is a cube. So it is 2a cube. Okay, now what we are going to find out here? Okay, we are going to consider here, this is I a square is given, but if I introduce here pi, then pi a square is nothing but the area of the loop, isn't it? So if I consider as it is mu naught n I upon 2a, it is like this. Okay, if I this a square and a cube, if I got getting cancelled, a square along with this, and then final answer I will get it this one. Okay, so this is one of the formula. But if I want to introduce instead of this a square is removed now, but if I want to introduce the area of the loop, then what I have to do, B is equal to mu naught n I a upon 2 pi a cube. And why it is so? Because a is equal to pi a square, isn't it? So if I include here pi a square, isn't it? Pi include here, then I have to include the pi here also. Yes. Okay, so that's what this pi, then 2 pi a cube will be occurring. So the 2 pi a cube, and the above term will become capital A, which is called as the area of the current carrying loop. So I'll write down here A is area of current loop. And the field is directed perpendicular to the plane of the current carrying loop. Okay, so direction of the field is perpendicular to the plane of the loop. This is the first case. Now second case, when the axial point, this axial point lies far away, axial point lies far away from this particular coil. Okay, then we can say that R is much greater than A, suppose. Okay, so if this R lies very far away from the point, then R is considered as a very larger than that of the radius of the particular coil, isn't it? And therefore we can have the formula B is equal to mu naught n I a square upon, as A is less, so from this formula A we are going to remove, and we will get the formula 2r cube. Once again, if I introduce here, instead of only a square, if I introduce pi here, then pi a square is a, and I have to introduce pi here also. Okay, so mu naught n I a upon 2 pi r cube is the magnetic field. Okay, so this field is directed along the axis of the loop, because if r is greater than a, this field, net field, is lying along the direction of the x-axis. Okay, and the field goes on reducing. We can see that the field goes on reducing or falls off as the cube of the distance from the current loop. Cube of the distance from the current loop. Okay, and the third point we are going to consider that when axial point is at equal distance to the radius of the coil. That means we have r is equal to a. Okay, so when r is equal to a, then we will get the formula b is equal to mu naught n I a square divided by 2. Now this is r square plus a square. Now r is equal to a, so it will be considered as a square plus a square raised to 3 by 2. We are not, why we are not taking r a as a r, because we are saying that r is equal to a, so r is replaced by a. Okay, so it is given as a mu naught n I divided by 2 raised to, now how it will become, 5 by 2 into a. So this is the magnitude of the magnetic field if r is equal to a. So all these three cases are considered as the different cases to find out the magnetic field on the axial line at a different conditions. Thank you.